today's tutorial, we are going to keep learning about pleats. Hi friends, welcome back to So Obvious. I'm Apollinar. In my last video, we learned a little bit about pleats. Today, I want to keep teaching you guys about more pleats, specifically the box and the inverted pleat. I'm also going to talk to you guys about one of my favorite decorative techniques, the Mexican pleat. Mexican like me. So let's get started. Box pleats and inverted pleats are essentially the same thing, except for one of them is slapped into the wrong side of the fabric, while the other one is overlapped into the right side of the fabric. Both of these pleats are commonly used in dresses and skirts, as well as the back seams of dress shirts and sports jackets. These two are great ways to add ease into garments that allows people to move without ripping the fabric. Box pleats in general are bigger than regular pleats. They are usually about twice the size because what it essentially is two pleats, one facing this way and one facing that way. And it's what's in the middle that causes it to look kind of like a box. So for this video, I am going to make a box pleat that is going to be 2 inches wide. This is the center of my fabric that I already marked. I'm going to mark 1 inch here, 1 inch there. And as you know, each pleat has 3 parts. So this one's going to have actually 6 parts. 3 on this side, 3 on this side. So let's go ahead and mark those. So here we have all 6. Right here, I'm just going to put an M so that we can see that this is the middle, and this is where the box pleat is going to be. So what we're going to do is what we did with the regular pleat, which is we're going to match up these notches. So there it is, all pinned. As you can see, we have this large overlap on top that looks really boxy. Now all we have to do is press. Here it is, nice and pressed. My steamer left a little bit of water on it. But as you can see, when we turn it on its back, it looks like 2 pleats that are facing the same way. Where on the front, it looks like 2 pleats facing the opposite way. Then, just like a regular pleat, you would top stitch across the top to make sure that it stays in place. This is the type of pleat that is perfect for the back of dress shirts because when you move, it gives you that extra space for right in the middle between your shoulder blades, so that when you bend forward and pick something up, it's not going to rip your shirt. Now for an inverted pleat, it is actually the exact same steps as a box pleat, but you're actually looking at the opposite side. So as you can see, the pleat is kind of hidden in between here. This is something that you would just stitch across the top, and then when you move, it gives you all that extra space. Now let's move on to the Mexican pleat. I love this thing so much. Unlike the rest of the pleats that we've learned about, the Mexican pleat is more of a decorative technique, where other pleats serve a functional purpose. The Mexican pleat is a great way to add texture, style, and detail to a plain fabric or a plain garment. Now we are at the part that I am so excited about, the Mexican pleat. Okay, so to get set up for the Mexican pleat, you are going to take a piece of fabric and you're going to mark, like I've done here, the size of your pleat. So all these lines that you see here are 1.5 inches apart from each other. You can do them at any size that you want. Just remember that whatever size you choose, once you sew them, it'll be about half the size. So now that I have these drawn, I am going to fold them all and press them. So I'm going to take this line and match it up with that line, and then I'm going to pin it in place, and we're going to keep doing that. So now that I have that pleat folded, I am going to press it. Then we're going to press it towards the top. Okay, so now we're going to move on to these two. These two lines are going to match up. Then we're going to press them, and then these two and so on and so on. Here, I was able to get 4 different pleats out of all that measurement that I made. So as you can see that we took a big piece of fabric and made it this small. So this is something you'd have to account for if you ever do use this technique. Now that I have these pressed, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to my sewing machine, and right here where I have these lines drawn, which is where it should be pressed, we are going to put a straight stitch on every single pleat. So here I have all of my pleats stitched, and what I'm going to do now is I'm going to press them all towards the same side. Now we are going to bring our rulers back, and we are going to do a little bit of more measuring. I'm going to do about 1.5 inches. It doesn't necessarily have to be this measurement. It can be any measurement. I've seen people who do 1 inch. I just find that 1.5 inches works the best for me. So what we're going to do is we're going to be drawing lines going up and down. Well, maybe not. All right, take 2. So are we going to be drawing lines going up and down this way? Now I'm using a pen so you guys can see it. Obviously you would be using chalk or washable marker. And we're going to do it every 1.5 inches. Now that we have these marked, this is where the real fun begins. And by fun, I mean frustration. We're going to take the first line, we're going to stitch right on top of it, going all the way across through all of the pleats. Our first line of stitching is done. Now what we are going to do is we are going to go on to the next line. But what we're going to do is we are going to push all of the pleats to face the opposite direction. So we are going to force them up as we stitch across. This is where it might get a little bit frustrating to you just because there isn't that much space to work with. But just do the best that you can and do a straight stitch, because this is where it's going to start looking really cool. And here's what it looks like after that second stitch. It's going to be doing a little bit of bunching, but that's okay. We'll take care of it with a little bit of pressing once we get done. So now what we're going to do, which I'm sure you've kind of caught the hang of it by now, which we're going to turn it back to its original direction. And we're going to sew the line, pushing the pleats in their original direction. Across this way. Then after that, we're going to turn it back around, turn them towards the other way, stitch, turn it back around, press them towards the other way, and stitch until you do all of the lines. So let's go do all those. And here we have a finished swatch of the Mexican pleat. As you can see, it does a really cool little design. This is a great fabric manipulation technique that you can use for purses or bags, or even on like sleeves of a jacket. I actually went to school with a girl who made a dress that was inspired by like the human skeleton, and she did just a small piece about this size on the back seam of the dress that looked like the spine. It was really cool. Now that you have this sewn, you can either leave it as is and use it like that for your garment. You can press it, you can frame it and give it to your mom for Christmas or something. I don't know. It's your piece of fabric, you do whatever you want to do. The best part about this tutorial is that this Mexican pleat was taught to you by a real Mexican. So there's that. If you liked today's video, make sure that you like, share, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell. You can also follow me on Instagram at @APollyLook. There you can keep up with my upcoming projects or any upcoming videos that I have, or you can just shoot me a message. If you didn't like this video, you should come back on Sunday anyway, because what else do you got to do? Okay, bye.